everybody on Safari Joe's channel. This is the library of your choice. Well, uh, back and promised with another story. So the story is Pigs, the one that I talked about in the last update video. A couple of things before we get started, just throwing some information around. Um, Behind me here, this is the cage. I don't know if I've talked about on this channel yet. My pet rat, Mia. She is awesome. She's a very good pet rat. This is her old cage. This was her baby cage. She just recently moved into a bigger cage. It's not really a cage, it's a condo. She has multiple floors, and it's huge for her. She's happy. She's a good rat. She'll be on camera sometime. I am sure of it. What else? Let's see here. Oh, I'm not filming this video on my phone camera because of storage and just it kept getting interrupted, so I'm using a computer camera. We'll see how it turns out, how this goes. So I'm excited to get into it. The story is called Pigs is Pigs. Some people on here might be familiar with this story. You might have read this story with me before in person. I like it a lot. It's about basically two guys a long time ago arguing over the price of some animals. Here we go. Oh, also, by the way, as you can tell, I'm not holding the story. I'm reading it off of my computer. I have it pulled up on my computer screen here. So I don't usually tend to read on the computer. It's not my preference, but I don't own a copy of the story, and as being that I printed it not a long time ago, but a little while ago, I don't quite remember where it is. Today, your story is brought to you by our sponsors, Waterloo Sparkling Water. This is not really a sponsor, but I very much enjoy sparkling water. It's a good one. Got it at Costco. Gotta love Costco. It's very flavorful. Mixed berry. Alright, put that back on the coaster there. I do have my guitar sitting next to me. I might even just end up picking it up to strum things as I read the story. I'm not going to sing. Please don't worry about that. Alright, Pigs is Pigs by Alice Parker Butler. Mike Flannery, the Westcote agent of the Interurban Express Company, leaned over the counter of the express office and shook his fist. Mr. Morehouse, angry and red, stood on the other side of the counter, trembling with rage. The argument had been long and heated, and at last Mr. Morehouse had talked himself speechless. Sounds like me. The cause of the trouble stood on the counter between the two men. It was a soap box, across the top of which were nailed a number of strips, forming a rough but serviceable cage. In it, two spotted guinea pigs were greedily eating lettuce leaves. "Do as you like with them," shouted Flannery. "Pay for them and take them, or don't pay for them and leave them be. Rules is rules, Mr. Morehouse, and Mike Flannery's not going to be called down for breaking of them." "But you everlastingly stupid idiot," shouted Mr. Morehouse, madly shaking a flimsy printed book beneath the agent's nose. "Can't you read it here, in your own plain printed rates? Pets, domestic, Franklin to Westcote, if properly boxed, 25 cents each." He threw the book on the counter in disgust. "What more do you want? Aren't they pets? Aren't they domestic? Aren't they properly boxed? What?" A quick pause just to say, the reading on the computer is kind of bothering my eyes already. It'll be fine, don't, but yep, just not the preferred. A little squinty. "They're properly boxed. They're domestic pets. What more do you want?" says Mr. Morehouse. He turned and walked back and forth rapidly, frowning ferociously. Suddenly he turned to Flannery and, forcing his voice to an artificial calmness, spoke slowly but with intense sarcasm. he said. PETS, 25 cents each. There are two of them. 1, 2. 2 times 25 are 50. Can you understand that? I offer you 50 cents. That's incorrect grammar. 2 times 25 is 50, it should say. Flannery, well, it's dialect. Flannery reached for the book. He ran his hand through the pages and stopped at page 64. And I don't take 50 cents, he whispered in mockery. Here's the rule for it. When the agent be in any doubt regarding which of two rates applies to a shipment, he shall charge the larger. The consignee may file a claim for the overcharge. In this case, Mr. Morehouse, I be in doubt. Pits them animals may be, and domestic they may be, but pigs I'm blame sure they do be. And me rule says plain as the nose on your face. Pigs, Franklin to Westcote, 30 cents each. And Mr. Morehouse, by me arithmetical knowledge, 2 times 30 comes to 60 cents. Mr. Morehouse shook his head savagely. Nonsense, he shouted. Confounded nonsense, I tell you. Why, the poor ignorant foreign rule, that means common pigs. Domestic pigs, not guinea pigs. Flannery was stubborn. Pigs is pigs, he declared firmly. So Flannery is saying there's no difference between a guinea pig and a pig that you would find on a farm. And Morehouse is saying these are two different types of animals. And what it comes down to is that farm pigs cost a bit more than a guinea pig would cost. Guinea pigs or Dago pigs or Irish pigs is all the same to the Interurban Express Company and to Mike Flannery. The nationality of the pigs creates no differentiality in the rate, Mr. Morehouse. 'Twould be the same was they Dutch pigs or Russian pigs. Mike Flannery is here to tend to the express business and not to hold conversations with Dago pigs in 17 languages for to discover they be Chinese or Tipperary by birth and nativity. Mr. Morehouse hesitated. He bit his lip and then flung out his arms wildly. Very well, he shouted. You shall hear of this. Your president shall hear of this. It is an outrage. I have offered you 50 cents. You refuse it. Keep the pigs until you are ready to take the 50 cents. But by George, sir, if one hair of those pigs' heads is harmed, I will have the law on you. He turned and stalked out, slamming the door. Flannery carefully lifted the soap box from the counter and placed it in a corner. He was not worried. He felt the peace that comes to a faithful servant who has done his duty and done it well. So now these guinea pigs are put in a box in the corner. Mr. Morehouse went home raging. His boy, who had been awaiting the guinea pigs, knew better than to ask him for them. He was a normal boy and therefore always had a guilty conscience when his father was angry, so the boy slipped quietly around the house. There's nothing so soothing to a guilty conscience as to be out of the path of the avenger. Mr. Morehouse stormed into the house. Where's the ink? He shouted as soon as his foot was across the door sill. Mrs. Morehouse jumped. She never used ink. She had not seen the ink, nor moved the ink, nor thought of the ink, but her husband's tone convicted her of the guilt of having borne and reared a boy, and she knew that whenever her husband wanted anything in a loud voice, the boy had been at it. I'll find Sammy, she said. When the ink was found, Mr. Morehouse wrote rapidly, and he read the completed letter and smiled in a triumphant smile. It smiled a triumphant smile. That will settle that crazy Irishman, he exclaimed. When they get that letter, he will hunt another job, all right? A week later, Mr. Morehouse received a long official envelope with the card of the Interurban Express Company in the upper left corner. He tore it open eagerly and drew out a sheet of paper. At the top, it bore the number A6754. The letter was short. Subject, rate on guinea pigs, it said. Dear Sir, we are in receipt of your letter regarding rate on guinea pigs between Franklin and Westcote addressed to the president of this company. All claims for overcharge should be, sorry, just checking this is still recording. Cool. All claims for overcharge should be addressed to the claims department. Mr. Morehouse wrote to the claims department. He wrote 6 pages of choice sarcasm, vituperation, and argument and sent them to the claims department. A few weeks later, he received a reply from the claims department. Attached to it was his last letter. Dear Sir, said the reply, your letter of the 16th instruction, addressed, INST, I don't know what that stands for, to be honest, addressed to this department, subject rate on guinea pigs from Franklin to Westcote, read, we have taken up the matter with our agent at Westcote, and his reply is attached here within. He informs us that you refused to receive the consignment or to pay the charges. You have therefore no claim against this company, and your letter regarding the proper rate of the consignment should be addressed to our tariff department. So Morehouse wrote to the Interurban Trading Company and said, I am getting poor service. I'm not, essentially, this guy, Mike Flannery, is providing poor customer service. And the company wrote him back and said, hey, Mr. Morehouse, you did not do what you were supposed to do, so you have no word against Mike Flannery. Mr. Morehouse wrote to the tariff department. He stated his case clearly and gave his arguments in full, quoting a page or two from the encyclopedia to prove that guinea pigs were not common pigs. With the care that characterizes corporations when they're systematically conducted, Mr. Morehouse's letter was numbered, okayed, and started through the regular channels. Duplicate copies of the bill of lading manifest, Flannery's receipt for the package, and several other pertinent papers were pinned to the letter, and they were passed to the head of the tariff department. The head of the tariff department put his feet on his desk and yawned. He looked through the papers carelessly. Miss Kane, he said to his stenographer, take this letter, Agent Westcote, New Jersey. Please advise why consignment referred to in attached papers was for refused domestic pet rates. Miss Kane made a series of curves and angles on her notebook and waited with pencil poised. The head of the department looked at the papers again. Huh, guinea pigs, he said. Probably starved to death by this time. Add this to that letter. Give condition of consignment at present. So he's saying, all right, well, I want to follow through on this. Let me know what the state of the guinea pigs is. How is their health, basically? He tossed the papers onto the stenographer's desk, took his feet from his own desk, and went out to lunch. When Mike Flannery received the letter, he scratched his head. Give present condition, he repeated thoughtfully. What do that mean? Them clerks be wanting to know, I wonder. Present condition is that them pigs praise St. Patrick, do be in good health, so far as I know. But I never was no veterinary surgeon to dago pigs. Maybe them clerks wants me to call in the pig doctor and have their pulses took. One thing I do know, however, is which they've glorious appetites for pigs of their soys. They'd ate the brass products off the barn door if the patty pig, these pigs, they eat a lot. They'd eat the brass paddocks off of a barn door. If the patty pig, by the same token, ate as hearty as these dago pigs do, there'd be a famine in Ireland. So he's saying these pigs eat a lot, comparing in different ways. And I think there's a letter mistyped or something. To assure himself that his report would be up to date, Flannery went to the rear of the office and looked into the cage. The pigs had been transferred to a larger box, a dry goods box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, he counted. 7 spotted and 1 all black, all well and hearty and all eaten like raging hippopotamuses. He went back to his desk and wrote. Mr. Morgan, head of tariff department, he wrote. Why do I say dago pigs is pigs? Because they is pigs and will be till you say they ain't, which is what the rule book says stop. You're jollying me, and you know it as well as I do. As to health, they are all well and hoping you are the same. P.S. There are 8 now. The family increased, all good eaters. P.S. I paid out so far $2 for cabbage, which they shall. I put in for a bill. I'm sorry. I paid out so far $2 for cabbage, which they like. Shall I put in bill for same what? Confusingly written a little bit there. So he's writing. Flannery's writing back to the tariff department, and he's saying the pigs are in good condition. The rule book, this is why I'm saying that these are regular types of pigs. They eat so much, and I'm trying to follow the rules, and you know the rules, so don't mess with me on the rules. He's also saying that when there were 2 pigs in the beginning, they've doubled. They've been growing in size. They're now up to 8 pigs, 8 guinea pigs. Guinea pigs. These are guinea pigs in the box. Morgan, head of the tariff department, when he received this letter, laughed. He read it again and became serious. By George, he said, Flannery is right. Pigs is pigs. I'll have to get the authority on this thing. Meanwhile, Miss Kane, take this letter. Agent Westcote, North J, regarding shipment guinea pigs, file number A6754, Rule 83, general instruction to agents, clearly states that agents shall collect from consignee all costs of provender, etc., etc., required for livestock while in transit or storage. You will proceed to collect same from consignee. Flannery received this letter next morning, and when he read it, he grinned. Oh, going back, Flannery said that so far on these guinea pigs that he's saying you should pay 60 cents for, and going back, Morehouse was saying I only should pay 50 cents for. Flannery has now paid $2 to feed them. So Flannery gets this letter. Proceed to collect, he said softly. How them clerks do like to be talking. Me proceed to collect $2.25 off Mr. Morehouse. I wonder, do them clerks know Mr. Morehouse? I'll get it. Oh yes, Mr. Morehouse, 2.25. It skipped up a little far. 2.25, please. Certainly, me dear friend Flannery. Delighted. Not. Landscaping. Flannery drove the express wagon to Mr. Morehouse's door. Mr. Morehouse answered the bell. Aha! He cried as soon as he saw it with Flannery. So you've come to your senses at last, have you? I thought you would. Bring in the box. I have no box, said Flannery coldly. I have a bill again, Mr. John C. Morehouse, for $2.25 for cabbages eaten by his Dago pigs. Would you wish to pay it? Pay? Cabbages? Gasped Mr. Morehouse. Do you mean to say that 2 little guinea pigs ate? Said Flannery. Papa and Mama and the 6 children. 8. For answer, Mr. Morehouse slammed the door in Flannery's face. Flannery looked at the door reproachfully. I take it the consignee don't want to pay for them cabbages, he said. If I know signs of refusal, the consignee refuses to pay for one dang cabbage leaf, and be darn me. Mr. Morgan, the head of the tariff department, consulted the president of the Interurban Express Company regarding guinea pigs as to whether they were pigs or not pigs. The president was inclined to treat the matter lightly. What is the rate on pigs and on pets? He asked. Pigs, 30 cents. Pets, 25 cents, said Morgan. Then, of course, guinea pigs are pigs, said the president. Yes, agreed Morgan. I look at it that way, too. A thing that can come under 2 rates is naturally due to be classed as the higher, but are guinea pigs pigs? Aren't they rabbits? Come to think of it, said the president, I believe they are more like rabbits, sort of halfway stationed between pig and rabbit. I think the question is this. Are guinea pigs of the domestic pig family? I'll ask Professor Gordon. He has authority on such things. Leave the papers to me. The president put the papers on his desk and wrote a letter to President Gordon. Unfortunately, the professor, not President Gordon, Professor Gordon. The professor was in South America collecting zoological specimens, and the letter was forwarded to him by his wife. As the professor was in the highest Andes, where no man had ever been, the letter was many months in reaching him. The president forgot the guinea pigs. Morgan forgot them. Mr. Morehouse forgot them, but Flannery did not. One half of his time he gave to the duties of his agency, the other half was devoted to the guinea pigs. Long before Professor Gordon received the president's letter, Morgan received one from Flannery. About them dago pigs, it said. What shall I do? They are great in family life. There are 32 now. Shall I sell them? Do you take this express office for a menagerie? Answer quick. Morgan reached for a telegraph blank and wrote, Agent Westcote, don't sell pigs. He then wrote Flannery a letter calling his attention to the fact that the pigs were not the property of the company, but they were merely being held during a settlement of a dispute regarding rates. He advised Flannery to take the best possible care of them. Flannery, letter in hand, looked at the pigs inside. The dry goods box cage had become too small. He boarded up 20 feet of the rear of the express office to make a large and airy home for them, and went about his business. He worked with feverish intensity, went out on his rounds, for the pigs required attention and took most of his time. Some months later, in desperation, he seized a sheet of paper and wrote 160 across it, and mailed it to Morgan. Morgan returned it asking for explanation. Flannery replied, there be now 160 of them dago pigs. For Pete's sake, let me sell off some. Do you want me to go crazy or what? Sell no pigs, Morgan wired. Not long after this, the president of the express company received a letter from the Professor Gordon. It was a long and scholarly letter, but the point was that the guinea pig was the cava apiora, while the common pig was the genus Sus of the family Suidae. He remarked that they were prolific and multiplied rapidly. They are not pigs, said the president decidedly to Morgan. The 25-cent rate applies. Morgan made the proper notation on the papers that had accumulated in file A6754 and turned them over to the audit department. The audit department took some time to look the matter up, and after the usual delay wrote Flannery that as he had on hand 160 guinea pigs, the property of consignee, he should deliver them and collect charges at the rate of 25 cents each. Flannery spent the day herding his charges through a narrow opening in their cage so that he might count them. Audit department, he wrote, when he had finished the count. You are way off. There was 160 dago pigs once, but wake up. Don't be a back number. I've got even 800. Now, shall I collect for 800 or what? How about $64 I paid out for the cabbages? It required a great many letters back and forth before the audit department was able to understand why the error had been made of billing 160 instead of 800, and still more time for it to get the meaning of the cabbages. Flannery was crowded into a few feet of the extreme front office. Pause for a break from your sponsors. That is any type of sparkling water. Delicious. Sponsored by sparkling water in general. All right, here we go. By the way, if you want to be super cool and show me that you're watching these videos and let me know, give me some honest feedback on this video. I'm not even looking for comments or anything. I just think this would be cool. On this video, somebody put in the comments, or many people put in the comments, sponsored by any sparkling water or something. I don't know. Put something about sparkling water in the comments, and because we're towards the end of the story. I think that's pretty cool. But again, whatever. Flannery was crowded into a few feet at the extreme front of the office. The pigs had all the rest of the room, and the two boys were employed constantly attending to them. The day after Flannery had counted the guinea pigs, there were 8 more added to his drove, and by the time the audit department gave him authority to collect for 800, Flannery had given up all attempts to attend to the receipt or to the delivery of goods. He was hastily building galleries around the express office tier above tier. He had 4,064 guinea pigs to care for. More were arriving daily. Immediately following its authorization, the audit department sent another letter, but Flannery was too busy to open it. They wrote another, and then they telegraphed, "Error in guinea pig bill. Collect for 2 guinea pigs, 50 cents. Deliver all to consignee." Flannery read the telegram and cheered up. He wrote out a bill as rapidly as his pencil could travel over paper and ran all the way to the Morehouse home. At the gate, he stopped, and suddenly the house stared at him with vacant eyes. The windows were bare of curtains, and he could see into the empty rooms. A sign on the porch said, "To let." Mr. Morehouse had moved. Flannery ran all the way back to the express office. 69 guinea pigs had been born during his absence. He ran out again and made feverish inquiries in the village. Mr. Morehouse had not only moved, but he had left Westcote. Flannery returned to the express office and found that 206 guinea pigs had entered the world since he left it. He wrote a telegram to the audit department. "Can't collect 50 cents for 2 dago pigs. Consignee has left town, address unknown. What shall I do? Flannery." The telegram was handed to one of the clerks in the audit department, and as he read it, he laughed. "Flannery must be crazy. He ought to know that the thing to do is to return the consignment here," said the clerk. He telegraphed Flannery to send the pigs to the main office of the company at Franklin. He was winding up the guinea pig episode when Flannery received the telegram he had set to work. The 6 boys had engaged to help him also set to work. They worked with the haste of desperate men, making cages out of soap boxes, cracker boxes, and all kinds of boxes. And as fast as the cages were completed, they filled them with guinea pigs and expressed them to Franklin. Still recording. Awesome. Day after day, the cages of guinea pigs flowed in a steady stream from Westcote to Franklin, and still Flannery and his 6 helpers ripped and nailed and packed relentlessly and feverishly. At the end of the week, they had shipped 280 cases of guinea pigs, and there were in the express office 704 more pigs than when they had began packing them. "Stop sending pigs! Warehouse full," came a telegram to Flannery. He stopped packing only long enough to wire back, "Can't stop," and kept on sending them. On the next train up from Franklin came one of the company's inspectors. He had instructions to stop the stream of guinea pigs at all hazards. As his train drew up at Westcote Station, he saw a cattle car standing on the express company's siding. When he reached the express office, he saw the express wagon backed up to the door. 6 boys were carrying bushel baskets full of guinea pigs from the office and dumping them into the wagon. Just buckets of guinea pigs everywhere. Inside the room, Flannery, with his coat and vest off, was shoveling guinea pigs into bushel baskets with a coal scoop. He was winding up the guinea pig episode. Shovelful of guinea pigs. He looked up at the inspector with a snort of anger. "1 wagon load more, and I'll be quit of them, and never will ye catch Flannery with no more foreign pigs on his hands. No, sir. They near was the death o' me. Next time I'll know that pigs of whatever nationality is domestic pets, and go at the lowest rate." He began shoveling again rapidly, speaking quickly between breaths. "Rules may be rules, but you can't fool Mike Flannery twice with the same trick. When it comes to livestock, dang the rules. So long as Flannery runs this express office, pigs is pets, and cows is pets, and horses is pets, and lions and tigers and Rocky Mountain goats is pets, and the rate on them is 25 cents. Paused long enough to let one of the boys put an empty basket in the place of the one he had just filled. There were only a few guinea pigs left. As he noted their limited number, his natural habit of looking on the bright side returned. Well, anyhow, he said cheerfully, it's not so bad as it might be. What if them Dago pigs had been elephants? Ho, ho, ho. My goodness, what an ending to that story. What if them Dago pigs had been elephants? 30 minutes and 7 seconds on the dot. Okay. Well, let's see. That's the story. Again, sponsored by any type of sparkling water, carbonated water. I kind of sped read some of that because that's just how I did it. And okay, well, have a good rest of your day. If you watched this video, I appreciate. I mean, if you even clicked on this video, if I've ever met you in my life, I appreciate you very much. Doesn't matter any of the prior circumstance of this following this video. Doesn't matter. If you just clicked on this video and fast forwarded up until this second in the video, I want you to know I appreciate you and I hope you're doing well. Maybe I'll see you around sometime. I'm around, nothing special. Just hanging out. Sometime I'll make a video with Mia in it. I'll take a video of her, post it. Maybe soon. It'd be easy to do. All right. Well, have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.